Hello everyone, we are researchers at Australian National Department of Young Scholarship, also known as ANDYS. Our group members are Austin, Betty, and Haley. Today we are going to discuss the topic of globalization and cultural distance profile for Germany. My name is Austin. Today I will be sharing with you a brief overview of how globalization has influenced Germany's political economy, specifically through its political, economic, and legal systems. I will also highlight key challenges that Australian firms might face when establishing operations in Germany. Political system. Germany is a democratic country with political culture that leans towards collectivism. Collectivism, by definition, emphasizes the value of group goals over individual objectives. According to this reference, collectivist societies tend to encourage individuals to identify with and act in the interest of the group or organization. Germany's federal structure grants significant autonomy to its states in legal and fiscal matters. This decentralization contributes to politically stable environment, especially in the face of globalization. Globalization has enhanced Germany's involvement with global institutions such as the European Union and the World Trade Organization. However, it also brings new pressures, pushing Germany to reform policies in areas such as immigration, energy transition, and labor market flexibility. Economic system. Germany has mixed market economy, which blends free market principle with government oversight. The state plays a strategic role in areas like education, research, and infrastructure. One of the clearest impacts of globalization is Germany's increasing emphasis on exports, especially in high-value manufacturing sectors such as automotive, machinery, and chemicals. These industries are characterized by advanced technologies and strong innovation, as noted by this reference in the research on emerging market forms. Furthermore, globalization has positioned Germany as a highly attractive destination for foreign investments, thanks to its efficient production systems and stable economic environment. While for legal system, Germany operates under a civil law system which is based on comprehensive written legal codes. This contrasts with Australia's common law system, which relies heavily on judicial precedents due to its EU membership. Germany's legal structure is influenced by both domestic law and supranational European Union regulations. This dual legal framework affects everything from data protection, like the GDPR, to antitrust rules. According to this reference, understanding and navigating legal cultural differences is essential for successful global business. Embracing legal diversity enhances adaptability and global operational effectiveness. For the challenges for Australian business in Germany, first, Australian firms face a complex legal landscape. Navigating both German national law and EU regulations demands considerable compliance efforts. Areas like environmental law, taxation, consumer protection, and data privacy are strictly enforced, with severe penalties for national compliance. Second, Germany has one of the world's most protective labor law systems. Dismissing employees is procedurally difficult. Labor agreements are typically set through collective bargaining, and employee representatives are often involved in decision-making at the board level. This practice may be unfamiliar to Australian firms used to more flexible labor relations. Gap. Most legal documents and court processes in Germany are in German. The system focuses on clear rules and strict procedures. Australian companies need to be careful, accurate, and may need local legal help to manage effectively.
Hello, I'm Betty from the Australian National Department of Young Scholars, and I'm going to be focusing on Germany's economy development and human development indicators. According to the data, the trade in goods and services between Australia and Germany will be worth $28.9 billion between 2022 and 2023. And with Germany's strong manufacturing and technological innovation capabilities and comparative advantage in research, Australia and Germany have strong economic complementarities. We knew that Germany has a GDP of $4.4 trillion in 2023, ranking fourth globally and is the largest economy in the European Union. Focusing on the export economy, and the EU is one of the world's largest single markets with no tariffs between Germany and its member states, and a very stable legal system in the trade market, enhancing market accessibility. Germany's high legalized business environment is very important for Australia high-tech companies, and this advantage helps protect the rights of Australian investors. According to the report, we know that Germany has a high human development level of 0.942, which is the ninth highest in the world. As a result, Germany has a high quality consumer and employee base, which increased the labor force participation rate and productivity in the trade market. This provides high quality human resource for the entry for Australia firms. At the same time, research shows that globalization has had a particularly significant impact on countries with high human development, including social health, education levels, and productivity, leading to more sustainable economics. But which factors are more important for Australian business? Let's discuss the famous Australian company, A2 Milk. When the company entered the German market, they found that German consumers were highly focused about the origin of their food and value corporate environmental responsibility. Even though German consumers have the ability to pay, this is the level of education and health awareness represented by the level of human development that determines whether the product will be accepted in the market or not. Therefore, multinational companies should also consider the value of the product or service to the consumer, which also influences the consumer's willingness to pay. And Australian companies must brand themselves to the knowledge level and values of the German consumer. In conclusion, although the level of economic development is an important reference for market consumption, human development reveals more about the cultural preference and the consumer behavior of the country's market.
Hi everyone, I'm Helly. After we discuss the economic and human development, let's talk about the cultural difference between Germany and Australia in terms of power distance and emotional expression, which are crucial for understanding how Australia firms might expand into their countries. So let's begin with the power distance. So power distance refers to how societies handle power dispatches and how much less powerful members accept the power is distributed unequally. So it's from Hausafer culture dimension. So both German and Australia are considered low power distance culture. In this country, there is a strong emphasis on egalitarian relationship between leaders and employees. Decision making is more democratical and participatory, and employees are encouraged to voice their opinion freely. So, however, there is some difference between these two countries. So, Germans focus more on efficiency and strict teamwork, where the Australia places a great emphasis on work-life balance and employee welfare. Despite this difference, both countries share a preference for low power distance, which helps create open, collaborative work environment. But when these cultures expand into high power distance culture, such as China or India, they might face some challenges. So in high level distance countries, leadership tend to be authorities, which which call like decision making. This contrast highlight the importance of adopting leadership styles to local expectation. So here is the impact of the power distance on leadership. And next, we will move on to emotional expression. Focusing on the neutral. Neutral. Democratic. Egalitarian. Hi guys, I'm Hallie. After we discuss economic and human development, let's compare the cultural difference between Germany and Australia in terms of power distance and emotional expression, which are crucial for understanding how Australian firms might expand into these countries. So let's begin with power distance. Power distance refers to how societies handle power disputes and how much less powerful members accept the power is distributed unequally. So it's from like Haushofer culture dimension. Both German and Australia are considered low power distance cultures. So in these countries, there is a strong emphasis on egalitarian relationship between leaders and employee. Decision making is more democratical and partial, and employees are encouraged to voice their opinion freely. However, there's difference between these two countries. Germans focus more efficiency and structured teamwork, when Australia places a great emphasis on work-life balance. So despite the difference, both countries share a preference for low power distance, which help create open work environment. But here we can see like when this culture expand into high power distance cultures such as China or India, so they might face some challenges. Leadership tend to be authorized with the decision making. This contrast highlight the importance of adopting the leadership style to local expectation. So here is the impact of power distance on leadership styles. And this contrast highlight the importance of the leadership. Next, I will move on to emotional expression, focus on the neutral and the affective dimension, starting with German, which is a neutral culture. German values emotional, especially in professional setting. Their communication tend to be rational and factual, and emotional displays are often seen as unprofessional. So leadership in German is typically structured and task-oriented, focused on efficiency. But at the same time, Australia is more of an affective culture, where open emotional expression is encouraged. Australians communicate more directly and use emotion to build relationship and strengthen connection. Australian leaders are often viewed as approachable and personable, and expressing emotional is considered an effective way to foster a positive and collaborative environment. So this culture difference have importance implication for business. For instance, like German firms are likely to prioritize efficiency and formal communication, while Australia may place more emphasis on relationship building and information interaction. Understanding this emotional expression difference can help business adjust their leadership and their communication strategy when working across this culture. Finally, as we continue with the presentation, you will notice that our reference list, including a variety of academic sources. These references are crucial for supporting the theories and framework we apply to our analysis. So, in conclusion, here is our presentation today, and thank you for listening.